I'm sharing my screen. I hope you're able to see. You're able to see, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we have discussed few problems also in the previous class based on projectile. So now what I'll do is I'll start with a topic called as equation of projectile. That is, what is the mathematical expression behind the equation of a projectile? So can someone tell me? That is, when you project a particle like this, when I project a particle at an angle theta with respect to the horizontal, it will travel in a parabolic path and it is going to hit the other point, right? So this is O. If I say this point is A, then this is maximum height and this is range. Accepted? So these are all the facts which we know. Now, if suppose I give you a point Px comma y, if I ask you to write the relation between x and y, that is, I need you to write only the mathematical relation by eliminating time, then what will you write? So this is u cos theta, this is u sin theta, there is a known fact, right? So Px comma y is the position of the particle at some time t. Accepted? So at this time t, I'm interested to know what is the relation between x and y. So how to solve? So at time t, see the expression I'm going to derive is an important one and you're supposed to remember also. So at time t, position of particle is what? X comma y. So if we apply S is equal to ut plus half at square along x direction, then what will we get? Sx is equal to ux into t plus half into ax into t square. Accepted? So what is the displacement of the particle in time t along x direction?
U cos theta t.
Displacement.
X.
So x is equal to velocity is u cos theta into t plus half into acceleration along x direction is?
0.
That's right. So 0. It implies x is equal to u cos theta into t. So from this can I write t is equal to x divided by u cos theta. Let this be equation number 1. Similarly, what is the displacement of the particle along y direction? Sy is equal to uy into t plus half into ay into t square. So what is the displacement of the particle in y direction?
Y.
H max.
That's right.
Y.
It is y now at time t. So y is equal to u sin theta into t plus half into acceleration of the particle in y direction.
Minus g.
Very good. Minus g into t square, right? So this will be equal to u sin theta into, what is the value of t, guys? You already have x divided by u cos theta minus g divided by 2 into x square divided by u square cos square theta. So u and u will get cancelled. So what is that you are left out with? X tan theta minus gx square divided by 2u square cos square theta. This is the value of y. And this is a very, very important relation to be remembered. So y is equal to x tan theta minus gx square divided by 2u square cos square theta. So if you observe, this is of the form y is equal to bx plus ax square, where a is less than 0. Recollect the concept from your 10th standard. So if you have a quadratic equation in x, and if the coefficient of a is less than 0, then what is the shape of it?
Downward parabola.
It's a downward parabola, and if you observe, that is the reason why the projectile motion is also a downward parabola. Here observe the coefficient of x square is what? Minus. Got it? So make a note of this point. Y is equal to x tan theta minus gx square divided by 2u square cos square theta. See, this expression has to be remembered because you can use this concept in 12th standard as well. If at all, the object is moving under the influence of any other field other than gravitational field, then instead of g, you will write something else. That's it. You will write that particular field's acceleration. So let me know once you're done copying this. Done? Yes or no? Okay. Listen. So, see, since you people know 12th standard basics, at least the first volume, I just have a few questions to be asked. Okay. So here we discussed saying that the object has traveled under the influence of whom? Under the influence of gravitational force. There might be certain scenarios where you have a situation like this. Okay. So this is a set of uniform electric field. A set of uniform electric field. Okay. Similarly, assume this is magnetic field later. Okay. First, let's discuss about electric field. So let's say there is a uniform electric field, and see the difference is, look at the way the questions will be framed. Okay. So here, what are we trying to say? Here, the object is moving under the influence of gravitational force, and object has what property associated with it? The object will have only mass associated with it because we are dealing with mechanical system. Whereas in the case of electric field, for a particle to travel within the electric field, okay, I'm repeating the question again. Listen, for the particle to travel within the electric field by undergoing a deviation in the sense, it should not continue to travel in the same path in which you projected it. Okay, I'm repeating it again. Tell me the right answer. So you have electric field. The particle is projected into the electric field such that it undergoes deviation. Then what are all the properties it needs to have with itself?
Charge.
Yes. So it will have mass and it should also have charge. Accepted? Now the question is, if suppose I have a charged particle, let's say the simplest particle, the basic particle, electron. If at all an electron is in my hand, okay, and I am giving it velocity. So when you have electron, it has mass, it has a charge associated with it. In addition to these two properties, if you give velocity to it, okay, then what is the direction in which that particular electron is going to travel? Can you tell me? Think, not at least guess. The question will vary in accordance like this. If the velocity is perpendicular to, okay, I'll come to the question like this. There is an electron, okay? Remember this, electron. If velocity is given in the direction of electric field, what would have happened? Okay. I have an electron. If the electron was given velocity in the direction of electric field, what would have happened? At least guess no what exactly would have happened.
Sir, it would have got deviated in the opposite direction.
Deviated in the sense it okay. It would have started traveling in the opposite direction. That's what you're trying to say. Because it is experiencing a force of how much value? E into capital E. Right. Why is it E into capital E? Because F is equal to QE. So it experiences a force E into capital E in the direction opposite to the electric field. It starts moving. Okay, there is an accepted fact. Next, what if the velocity was given perpendicular to electric field? What would have happened to it? Guess. Had we given velocity perpendicular to electric field, what would have happened to it? Will it enter this medium, this electric field medium, and start traveling in the same path? Guess no. What exactly will happen? At least try, speak out.
Travel in circular path.
Sorry?
Travel in circular path.
It will not travel in circular path. See, for a particle to travel in a circular path, what is the necessary force?
Centripetal.
Centripetal force.
Siddharth, can you come close to the mic? I'm not able to hear.
Yes, sir.
So it force that is necessary. So centripetal force means what? There is a force which is acting always towards whom? There is a force which is always acting towards the center of that circle. That is not going to happen here because when the particle has entered, the component of velocity is in this direction, but what is the direction in which it is experiencing the force? Velocity is like this, but what is the direction in which it is experiencing the force?
Perpendicular to the component of
It
the
is exactly in the downward direction. It is experiencing a force in the downward direction. It's same as the previous case. We know the fact that electron always experiences force in the direction opposite to electric field. As simple as that. So when this is going to happen, the velocity component will try to push it in the horizontal direction, but the force component will try to pull it in the downward direction. As a result of which, what will happen? The particle will neither be able to travel along completely its direction nor along negative y direction. So it starts experiencing a deviation. So this deviation, if you observe, what particular shape does it take? It takes the shape of a parabola. It's a parabola. Okay, have this point in your mind. So whenever there is a particle which is projected perpendicular to the electric field, perpendicular to electric field, it will travel in a parabolic path. If I replace this electric field with magnetic field, what would have happened? Then what you people told us, right? Then it would have then it would have traveled in a uniform circular motion. Okay, there's a very, very simple difference which you have to make a note of, and questions will be framed on this. That's the reason I'm trying to stress. Because we were discussing about the parabolic path experienced by particle traveling under the influence of gravity. Here also the same thing will happen. At that time, what you can do is you replace G with the acceleration in this medium. What is the acceleration in this medium? E into capital E is equal to M into A, accepted. So which implies A is equal to E into capital E divided by M. We would have seen this in the derivation of drift velocity also, right? Then the equation of projectile will be y is equal to x tan theta minus E into capital E divided by M into x square divided by u square cos square theta where theta is the angle of projection with respect to the horizontal. This will help you to calculate the distance the object has traveled after time t. Okay, means you will get the answer in one step. Are you guys able to connect the dots?
Sir, will there be a 1 by 2?
Yeah, there is a 2 here. Because in the back end, what you will be doing is you will be applying the same equations. Same, you would have applied the same equations of motion and you get this answer. Are you guys able to understand or not? Because questions can be framed under any field. They will not restrict it only to gravitational field. Am I clear?
Sir, what will be theta, sir?
In this case, what will it be? You tell me.
Sir, angle between velocity and electric field.
Horizontal. Angle between velocity and horizontal.
Oh,
Now, what did you do in the derivation? Theta is the angle with respect to whom? Angle with the initial velocity of projection. For derivation, clear up. Angle with the initial velocity of projection with respect to the horizon. That context, you tell me what will be the angle in this case. So, initial velocity is in which direction?
positive x-axis.
Okay. So, what will be the angle it makes with the horizontal?
0.
That's right. So, it will be 0.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, this is all about the basics of equations of projectile. With the hope that it is clear, we will solve few problems. I hope it is clear. Now listen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now see, there is a third problem which is based on projectile motion. Ninth. Okay, these are all simple problems. Let's try them out. Just give me a minute. Now tell me how to do. The trajectory of a projectile near the surface of Earth means it is traveling under the influence of gravity. Surface of Earth is given by y is equal to 2x minus 9x square. If it were launched at an angle theta naught with a speed v naught, then so here they told angle theta naught. No, they have not mentioned with respect to horizontal or vertical. So you can take it as horizontal by default unless it is mentioned in the question. Okay, in some questions they will twist and ask. They will say that it is projected at angle theta naught with respect to vertical. Then in all the formula, what are we supposed to do? We need to take 90 minus theta. Okay. Then how to solve this? Tell me. You can solve it in less than 20 seconds. How can you do it? So they have given you equation. So we know the equation of projectile is y is equal to x tan theta minus gx square divided by 2u square cos square theta. Accepted? Right. So when you compare it with the equation y is equal to 2x minus 9x square, what are they asking? They're asking theta naught, which gives you the relation between theta naught. So I can say, yes, tan theta naught is equal to 2, which implies sin theta naught will be equal to 2 divided by root 5. Where is it? Sin theta naught is 2 divided by root 5. The only option is D. Similarly, you can do a comparison and see. So then what will cos theta be? Cos theta naught will be 1 by root 5. So you take and substitute it here. Can I say g divided by 2u square cos square theta is equal to 9, which implies 10 divided by 2 u square. What is cos square theta? That is 1 by 5
1 by 5.
is equal to 9. This will cancel 5 times. So what will be the value of u square, guys? U square is equal to 9 divided by 25, which implies u will be 3 divided by 5. Do we have it?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So this is how you do this problem. Okay. Just a minute. I'm moving on to the next problem. Now you people have to tell me how to solve. So look at the 9th one. The question is, a projectile is given an initial velocity of I cap plus 2 j cap meter per second, where I is along the ground and j cap is along the vertical. If j is equal to 10 meters per second square, the equation of its trajectory is. Tell me. So what is the equation of trajectory? Y is equal to x tan theta minus gx square divided by 2u square cos square theta. So what are all the factors that are given? Initial velocity is given to us. So I cap plus 2 j cap, then what is the value of its magnitude?
Root 5.
That's right. So I is equal to root 5. Sorry, u is equal to root 5. G is taken as 10, then the equation of trajectory. Y will be equal to x into, we don't know what is tan theta, minus 10 into x square divided by 2 into u square, that is 5, into cos square theta. How to find this tan theta and cos theta? If you recollect the basics from vectors, no? If there is a particle which is projected like this, if a particle is projected like this at an angle theta, okay, if suppose I write this vector as a vector is equal to xi cap plus yj cap, then what is the angle made by the vector with respect to the horizontal? The answer is tan theta is equal to always the component of y divided by the component of x, y by x. Apply the same logic and tell me what will be the value of tan theta.
2, sir.
Sorry?
2, sir.
Is it 2?
That's right. So tan theta will be equal to 2. So when tan theta is 2, you will get y is equal to 2x minus this and this will get cancelled, x square divided by, what will be the value of cos theta, guys? Tan theta is 2, cos theta is 1 by root 5. Accepted? So when you write cos square theta, it will be 1 by 5. So what will be the answer? Y is equal to 2x minus 5x square. Is there an option like this? Right? So it's the same story but asked in a different way. I hope it is clear. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Next. You people try this problem. I'll give you 1 minute time. The trajectory of a projectile in a vertical plane is given by the equation y is equal to ax minus bx square, where a and b are constant and x and y are respectively the horizontal and the vertical distance of the projectile from the point of projection. The maximum height attained is, and the angle of projection from the horizontal is. Did you guys understand the question?
Yes, sir.
Do it fast. So what are they asking? Maximum height attained. So what is the formula for H max? U square
2G.
So U is how much? G divided by 2 U square cos square theta is equal to B. So so what will you get the value of U square as? Can you find out and tell me fast?
Two cos square theta B by G.
How will it be 2 cos square theta? Cos square theta will U square, no? So U square is how much? G divided by 2B cos square theta. But what is the value of cos square theta? See, tan theta is A, guys. Then what is cos theta? 1 by
Root of a square plus 1.
correct. 1 by root of 1 plus A square. So G divided by 2B into cos square theta is 1 by 1 plus A square. So 1 plus A square into G divided by 2B is what is U. So substitute it here. You know the formula for sine square theta. Just substitute it there, then you will get the required answer.
Sir, is it A by 4B?
I think so. Yeah, A by 4B is right. The other way to solve this is U square into, you can write sine square theta as 1 minus cos square theta. No need, this will become complicated. So what I was thinking is you have U square cos square theta, no? And here it is U square sine square theta. If you can bring in some relation, you will get the answer.
Sir, we can take G value as B 2U square cos square theta.
We could have done that. G value would have been B into 2U square cos square theta. That would have got answer. That's right. So we could have taken it like that.
Sir, we
So
can
answer
also write tan theta in terms of sine and cos.
that also could have done. So A divided by 4B, that's right. Angle of projection from the horizontal. That's very simple. That is tan inverse of A. Because tan theta is equal to A, tan inverse of A will be the required angle of projection. Okay. Now we'll do the next problem. A projectile fired from the ground follows a parabolic path. The speed of the projectile is minimum at the top of its path. Is it true or false?
True.
Yes, it's true. And what is the value of the velocity at the highest point?
Zero.
Sorry?
Zero.
No. It is
U
theta.
cos theta.
Because when the particle is traveling like this, I told you at the highest point it has only horizontal component of velocity, u cos theta. Don't forget this. Okay. So these are all the problems which are based on equations of projectile. Remaining we can see it in the DPPs. Next is write down the heading as equation of projectile on an inclined plane. Projectile on an inclined plane. That is you have an inclined plane. Let's say the angle of inclination is beta. Okay. So let's say you're projecting a particle u at an angle alpha with the horizontal. Are you guys able to understand? Then what will be the trajectory in which this particle is going to travel? Whenever there is an oblique projection, what will happen? So if you want to understand what oblique projection is, see from the top of a tower, what we can do is we can project the particle horizontally. This is called as horizontal projection. Okay. Similarly, from the top of a tower, you can project it in vertically upward direction. That's called as vertical projection. Instead of 0 degrees or 90 degrees, if you follow any other angle, we call it as oblique projection. So here, the object is projected at an angle alpha with respect to the horizontal. Now, what would be the particle's trajectory? What will be the path followed by it?
Projectile motion.
So it will travel in a parabolic path. It travel in a parabolic path. It will go like this, and it will hit this point, right? So when this is going to hit, our work is to calculate what is the time of flight, what is the range, and all those parameters. Just like how we did in the previous case, we are going to do here also. But there is going to be a slight difference, right? So how to proceed? You people give me the idea. Suppose I give you a question like this. Instead of treating it like a concept, can you treat it like a problem and tell me how will you start thinking? Just think. Give me idea if it is right or wrong. That's a different story. We'll at least try. No? See, in the case of projectile motion on a horizontal surface, first, what did we try to do? We tried to resolve the component of whom? We can always try to resolve the component of input value. So what is the input we have?
Initial velocity.
Initial velocity. So you need to resolve. When I say resolving, Resolving comes into picture only when there is an oblique concept. That is when there is a non-zero theta value or non-zero theta value that is existing, right? So here, there we could resolve it into two components, this u cos theta and u sin theta. Accepted. So this has happened. Now the question is, in this case, how am I going to resolve? Because u is still under oblique condition. We need to resolve it into two components, right? How are we going to do? For that, we first need to choose which direction are you going to take it as x direction and which direction as y direction, right? So that is the first step that we need to take into consideration. If that is the case, see, in physics, we have the option to choose. For example, wherever you deal with problems which are along the horizontal plane, then you can take the horizontal direction as x and the vertical direction as y, right? Whereas when you have inclined plane, then what will we do? I'm sure you would have solved some problems based on inclined plane and Newton's laws. So at that time, what will you do? You will take the inclined plane, the direction along the inclined plane as x and the direction perpendicular to the inclined plane as y. Okay, so that is x and y. Then this will be the horizontal component, and I'll use another color, C. This will be the horizontal component and this will be the vertical component, accepted. Right? When this is happening, what do I write the horizontal component as?
U cos beta minus alpha. Alpha minus beta.
Yes. So it is u cos of alpha minus beta. To clear your doubt, this whole thing is alpha. Then this will be alpha minus beta. Then what will be the vertical component? Obviously, it will be u sine of alpha minus beta. So I hope this is clear. Right. Now my work is to calculate how much time does it take for the particle to reach point B. From O, I'm interested to find out how much time it takes for the particle to reach B. For that, we will apply S is equal to ut plus half at square along which direction? Y direction. Because recollect the concept from the horizontal projection. I mean, projection on a horizontal plane. We did the same thing, no? So S is equal to ut plus half at square along y direction. Sy is equal to uy into t plus half into ay into t square. Accepted? So what is the displacement of the particle along y direction when it is projected horizontally? I mean, in this scenario, what is the displacement of the particle between the points O and B along y direction?
Zero.
What is it, H, ma'am?
It is still zero because why? What is the reason for it? Because you have taken the direction of OB as x. See, in maths, there is a concept called as rotation of axis. What is fixed in our mind is we always think that horizontal should be x and vertical should be y. No necessity of that sort. Okay, you are free to choose. That is advantage of this advantage of physics. You can choose any direction to be x and any direction to be y. Okay, so 0 is equal to, what is the velocity along the y direction?
U sine alpha minus beta.
That's right. U sine of alpha minus beta into how much is the time taken for the particle to go from O to B? That's what is called as the time of flight. Plus half into acceleration along y direction. What is it?
Minus t.
This is where you need to be careful again. See, when it is going like this, acceleration due to gravity is in this direction. I'm repeating it. Acceleration due to gravity is vertically in the downward direction. Am I right? But what did we take y direction as? This is the y direction. So I need a velocity component in that direction, either in the up in this direction or in the downward direction. But this g is making an angle theta, making some angle with respect to the downward direction, which I'm expecting, right? So what are we supposed to do in this case? Here also, what do we need to do?
Resolve
We need, yes, resolve whom?
G.
G.
Yes, the angle of inclination is beta. Then, how much is this angle? What's happening? Are you guys able to understand? No. What is happening?
So that's
If,
beta.
that's right. It is beta because if this is beta, this is 90. This would have been 90 minus beta. And this is a component which is perpendicular to the horizontal. If this is 90 minus beta, then this would have been beta. That's right. Then what is the component of velocity which we need, the component of acceleration that we need to take? Now tell me. So in the place of AY, what should I take?
Minus G cos beta.
Very good. It is minus G cos beta into capital T square. Now can you calculate the value of T? So T will be equal to 2u sine of alpha minus beta, the whole divided by how much? G cos beta. So this is going to be the formula for the time of flight on whom? For a projectile on an inclined plane. And one more important point is the projectile projected in upward direction or downward direction?
Upward.
It is upward. So please make a note of it. This is the time of flight for a projectile which is projected in the upward direction on an inclined plane. Okay, so what I can do is I can treat it like a generic formula. Observe what I'm going to do. If suppose beta is equal to 0, then what does it technically mean? If beta is equal to 0, then the angle of inclination is, then the angle of inclination is 0. When beta is equal to 0, substitute the value and see, it will be 2u sine alpha divided by g. Is this not the expression we got in the previous case?
Yes, sir.
Right? I hope you're able to visualize, no? Okay, please make a note of it. Okay. Now, similarly, you people tell me how to find the range. So R is equal to, what do we take?
Next direction.
Yes. Apply S is equal to ut plus half at square along which direction? X direction. So Sx is equal to ux into t plus half into ax into t square. So displacement of the particle along x direction is the range, that is OB is equal to. What is the velocity along x direction according to it?
U cos alpha minus beta.
That's right. U cos alpha minus beta into, what is the value of t? So how much time is it taking for the particle to go from O to B? It takes the time that is required for the flight. Sorry, not this one, this one. So that is capital T plus half into, what is the acceleration along x direction? In this case, don't take it as 0 because there is a component of g existing along the inclined plane. What is it?
Minus J sin beta.
That's right. Minus g sine beta into t square. And remember, this is not restricted to this chapter. We'll be using the same concept in the next chapter also. Only difference is you will multiply everywhere with m, which is going to give you force. So have this in your mind. So u cos of alpha minus beta into t plus half into minus g sine beta into t square. So this is r. R is equal to u cos of alpha minus beta into, what is the value of t, guys? 2u sine alpha, the whole divided by g, minus g sine beta by 2 into 2u sine alpha divided by g, the whole square. Right. So when you solve this, I'll tell you what expression you get. Just a minute. So on solving this, you get r is equal to, write it down, 2u square sine of alpha minus beta into cos alpha, the whole divided by g cos square beta. Okay. So 2u square sine alpha minus beta into cos alpha divided by g cos square beta. So this is the formula for range of a particle which is projected in the direction, in the upward direction on an inclined plane.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, how is time taken as 2u sine alpha by t?
No, it is alpha minus beta. It is 2u sine alpha minus beta by g cos beta. Now is it fine?
Yes, sir.
It's not a big deal. You just have to multiply and then subtract it. You will get this answer in one step. Okay. So with the hope that you're clear with this, we will do one problem which is asked in the exam. If a plane is inclined at an angle theta, alpha is equal to 30 degrees with respect to the horizontal. A particle is projected with a speed u is equal to 2 meters per second from the base of the plane, making an angle theta is equal to 15 degrees with respect to the plane. The distance from the base at which the particle hits the plane is close to. So what are they indirectly asking to? So we know all the story behind. It is going to travel in a parabolic path. Let's say it is hitting at B, then OB is equal to what is the question? So what is OB? OB is nothing but the range. Just now we saw it is 2u square sine of alpha minus beta into cos alpha divided by how much?
J cos square beta.
Yes. So substitute all the values. So 2 is 2 only. U square is how much? 4 into sine of what is the value of alpha minus beta? That is 15 degrees. Cos how much? Alpha. Alpha is how much? Alpha is the total angle with respect to the base. That is 45 degrees. The whole divided by G is 10 into cos square. What is the value of beta, guys?
30.
30.
So I hope you can solve this and find out the answer. You will get an approximate value because it's close to, means they're asking you the approximate value. Okay. So with the hope that you can solve this, I'm going to the next part. Now, I'll give you 5 minutes time. Think and tell me how to derive all these expressions when the particle is traveling in the vertically, when the particle is projected down an inclined plane. That is the same story again. You have beta, right? So here what has happened is you project an angle, you project a particle at an angle alpha with the horizontal. Okay. Now you need to derive what will be the time of flight for the particle when it is traveling in this way and it is hitting here. If you take this as O, this as B, we need to find what is this distance OD also. One thing you observe in both the cases, no, alpha is always the angle of projection with respect to the horizontal. It is not with respect to the inclined plane. So that point should get registered in your mind. How to proceed, guys? Can you give me the idea? So again, what are we supposed to do? You take the initial point of, yeah, tell me. You take the, tell me.
Sir, we have to resolve the initial velocity into its components. So
Okay.
it will be u sine alpha plus beta in the y direction.
How did you get alpha
U
plus beta? I never mentioned what is beta.
Sir, it's
This angle is how much?
beta, right?
Yes. Alternate interior angles. It will be beta, that's right. So it will be u cos of alpha plus beta, and this will be u sine of alpha plus beta. That's right. This will be u cos of alpha plus beta. Correct? So this will be horizontal direction. This will be the vertical direction. Accepted? When that is the case, how are we going to find the time of flight again? So for time of flight, same story again. Sy is equal to uy into t plus half into ay into t square. So Sy is how much? 0. Uy is how much? U sine of alpha plus beta plus half into acceleration along y direction. Minus g cos beta into t square. So same story again. 2u sine of alpha plus beta divided by G cos beta will be equal to T. So what is that you're able to observe? The difference comes in terms of alpha plus beta and alpha minus beta. Similarly, if you verify the previous formula of range, in the previous formula of range, what is it you had? You had 2u square sine alpha minus beta into cos alpha. No, here what will you get? You will get 2u square sine alpha plus beta into cos alpha divided by G cos beta. I hope that is clear, guys.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. So these are all the ways questions will be asked based on projectile motion. Okay. And one last concept that is left out is radius of curvature of an oblique projection. So right now, so these are all the concepts actually that are missing in your textbook, but questions are asked based on it. Radius of curvature of an oblique projector. Let's say at point P, where P is some point in the path of its travel. Okay. So let me explain what exactly, why are we using the word radius of curvature? Radius is generally defined for whom?
Okay.
Radius is defined for circle. But what did we say a projectile is? When you project a particle obliquely, what path is it going to take?
Parabola.
Parabolic.
For a parabola, is it possible for us to define radius? The answer is no, right? Because there is no fixed point. Radius is defined like this. So see, if you define a circle, how do you define a circle? It is a locus of all points which is equidistant from a fixed point. And the fixed point we call it as center. And any point on the circle, if you try to measure the distance between the center and any point on the circle, that will be a fixed distance which is called as the radius. But here, how are we going to do? For a parabola, you don't have any fixed center, right? Then what exactly does radius of curvature mean? If you observe, they never told radius of the parabolic path. What are they using? They are saying it is the radius of curvature. One point is clear that parabola is a curved shape, right? So when that is going to happen, when the particle is traveling in this way, observe you. If I take any point P somewhere over here, right? Can I say it is having some curvature? Right. At this curvature, what we are going to do is, if at all you are able to draw a circle like this, if at all you are able to draw a circle like this, then they are asking what will be the radius of this circle. I use small r because capital R is used for range. Are you guys able to visualize what I'm trying to say? So on the curved path of the projectile, if you take any point P, at that point P, if you are able to draw a circle with center somewhere in between, okay, such that the velocity at that point is always tangential to it. See, one point to be remembered is throughout physics, remember, whenever there is a part, if you need to calculate the velocity of a particle at a particular point on any kind of a curved path, you always need to draw what? You always need to draw
Tangent.
tangent. So if you observe, we draw a tangent here. Let's say the velocity at this particular point is v. I hope you are able to understand this point. Okay. So can I call this component as tangential component of whom? Tangential component of whom? It is a tangent to which curved path?
Velocity.
Yeah, it is a tangent can be to a curve. Which curve? There are two curves that you are able to see. No? You are able to see a parabola and a circle. It is tangential to whom?
Circle.
Both. It is tangential to both parabola as well as circle. So tell me, are you clear till this step?
Yes, sir.
Right. So when this is happening, this R. Now I will try to take a little bit zoom questions. What is the acceleration due to gravity in this direction? I've asked very simple question. What is the acceleration due to gravity in this? What is the acceleration in this direction? It is g. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is, whenever there is a circular, whenever there is a concept of circle, right? The first thing that should come to your mind is centripetal force or centripetal acceleration. Okay. Now I'm asking you a question. What is the formula for centripetal acceleration? You know this already.
V square by R.
That's right, V square by R. But my question is, what is V and what is R there? So you told AC is equal to VC by R, V square by R. It can either be called centripetal acceleration or radial acceleration, both mean the same. So AC is equal to V square by R accepted. Where R stands for what?
Radius of circle.
That's right. Then what about V? V is the velocity accepted. But which component of velocity am I need to take into consideration? Do I need to take into consideration? See, I'm repeating it, guys. Listen. Let's say there is a particle which is moving in a circular path. Okay. Then what are all the velocities it will have? It will have only one velocity, which is tangential velocity, because just now I told you, whenever there is a particle revolving along any curved path, it is going to have only what? Only tangential velocity, right? So in this case, can I write it as Vt square divided by R? This is going to be the centripetal acceleration. But what is the basic definition of centripetal acceleration? I'm asking definition, not the mathematical expression. What do we mean by centripetal acceleration? What do we mean by it? Expecting an answer, can you please be fast? So any acceleration which is acting
Towards the center.
towards the center of the circular path is what is called as centripetal acceleration. That's why we also call it as radial, because it acts along the radius. So AC is equal to Vt square divided by R, where Vt is the tangential component of velocity and R is the radius of the circle. So what is R work? What is the topic all about? It is the radius of curvature. Means I need to find R. Can I write R is equal to Vt square divided by AC? Right. If suppose I treat it like a problem, I'm repeating it, if I treat it like a problem, if this is theta, if this is given, u is given and theta is given, and if I ask you to find the velocity of the particle at some time t, will you be able to find this tangential component of velocity or not? Will you be able to find it? Okay. So what I'm trying to say is the particle is traveling in this way. Let's say this is the point P. If I take it here, if I need to find the velocity at this particular point in terms of u, theta and t, will I be able to find the value of v at this point using the basic equations of motion or not?
Yes, sir.
So how will you do it?
V equal
You'll-
to U plus AT.
Yes. So what we can do is you will apply v is equal to u plus at along x direction separately, y direction separately. You apply it. So vx will be equal to ux plus ax into t. Accepted?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So Vx will be equal to Ux is u cos theta plus 0 into t. Similarly, Vy will be equal to u sin theta minus g into t. Accepted? So you know Vx, you know Vy. Then what is the value of V? Root of Vx square plus Vy square. I hope this. So I hope this is clear, right? So you will be able to find this velocity, which is going to give you which component of velocity. It will give you the tangential velocity. So imagine all these things as numbers. So you'll be able to find V. So V is not an issue at all. So Vt can be found easily in the problem. Then what about AC? What do we mean by AC? That is centripetal acceleration. How do we find that? The only way is,
That's all.
yes, the only way is to resolve them into components. Observe. What will happen is, if I take this as the horizontal velocity and downward direction as the vertical velocity, okay, if at all I call this angle as beta, where beta is what? Beta is the angle made by the velocity with respect to the horizontal at that particular point. Then I'll draw a free body diagram. Observe. So there is a curved path. This is what? Tangential velocity. This is angle beta. So this will be V cos beta and V sin beta. But what is our concern? Is it about velocity or acceleration? Our concern is about acceleration. Observe. So the center of the circular track is somewhere over here. If I take it to be like this, then if I take this as G, okay, then how much is this angle, guys? How much is the angle which I marked in red color?
90 minus beta.
That's right. And remember, Vt and this component are perpendicular to each other because this is tangential and this line is normal. When that is the case, then how much will this angle be?
Beta.
Beta.
Yes. So G can be resolved into two components, and one of the components is going to be G cos beta. So G cos beta is actually what? G cos beta is the necessary centripetal acceleration. So R will be equal to Vt square divided by G cos beta. There is the value of the radius of curvature, guys. So this is the formula. Means for you to apply the formula of radius of curvature, you need to understand what is the tangential velocity at that particular point and what is the centripetal acceleration at that particular point. Clear? So with this idea, let us try solving the problem which was asked in exam. Guys, did you understand or not? No response. I hope it is clear.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, just give me a second. Tell me. There is an object which is projected at t is equal to 0 with a velocity of how much value? 10 meter per second at an angle of how much? 60 degrees. So what are all the data that is given? Solution u is equal to 10 meter per second. Theta is equal to 60 degrees with the horizontal. The radius of the curvature of its trajectory at t is equal to 1 is capital R. Neglecting air resistance and taking acceleration due to gravity as 10 meters per second, the value of R is. So what is the formula? R is equal to Bt square divided by AC. So what is the velocity of the particle at t is equal to 1 second? It is root of Vx square plus Vy square the whole square by AC. Tell me guys. So what is the value of Vx? It is u cos theta into t, because acceleration along x direction is 0, which implies Vx is equal to 10 cos 60 degrees into how much time is it taking? 1 second. So t into cos 60 is half, so it is 5 meter per second. So what about Vy guys?
U sin theta minus gt.
Very good. U sin theta minus gt. Wait. Vx is equal to ux into t, u cos. So we know that the velocity along the x direction is always a constant, which is u cos theta. So Vy is equal to u sin theta minus gt. So u is how much? 10 into sin theta is root 3 by 2 minus g is 10 into 1. It will be 5 root 3 sin 60th 30th at an angle of projection. So it will be 5 root 3 minus 10. Okay. So I hope these 2 points are clear. So if you observe, this is a negative value, means the particle is actually trying to travel in, is going in the downward direction at that instant. So if this is the velocity, the x component of velocity is 5 meter per second, the y component of velocity is 5 root 3 minus 10 meter per second. So this is how it is. Is it clear or not guys? Tell me.
Yes.
Then this angle is beta. So what will I get tan beta as?
Five root 3 minus 10 by 5.
It is the vertical component divided by the horizontal. 5 root 3 minus 10 divided by 5. It will be root 3 minus 2. So that is tan beta. Right. Now apply the formula, you know the answer. So what is the value of, so for Vx what we need to do is, it is 25 plus the square. Correct? Because it is Vx square plus Vy square. So what will be the radius guys? So R will be equal to 25 plus 5 root 3 minus 10 the whole square. The whole divided by, what is the value of AC? AC is G cos beta. 25 plus 5 root 3 minus 10 is 25 into 3, that is 75 plus 100 minus 20 into 5 is 100 root 3, the whole divided by G is 10 into, what is the value of cos beta? You can find it out from this thing, 1 divided by root 3 minus 2 the whole square plus 1. Okay, so substitute all these values and find out the answer. I know in terms of calculation it is slightly tedious, but this is how you solve. Okay, with practice you'll get the speed. I hope I'm clear with the concept.
Yes, sir.
Please make a note of it. So what are the 3 new concepts that you have learned today? The one which is not there for CBSE that you have learned today is, when you project a particle, when there is an oblique projectile, up an inclined plane, down an inclined plane, next is we try to understand what is the radius of curvature of a particle. Right. 1 minute. So with this, I've completed all the concepts related to projectile motion. The next we need to concentrate is upon vectors. Okay, that we can do. Is there any doubt from the worksheet that you have solved from the DPPs? Is there any question that you couldn't solve? So yesterday I received two, I think one student submitted the assignment yesterday.
Sir,
So any
I have
doubts?
some doubts, sir.
Tell me.
The second one.
Second, can you read that question? In the second what?
Oh,
Projectile
okay.
motion DPP. Yeah?
Yes, sir. Just a second.
Others also you can have it open. If anybody has solved it, you can discuss with me. 1 minute, my DPP2, yes, I have opened it. Tell me which question.
15th, sir.
A ball is thrown horizontally from a height of 20 meters. It hits the ground with a velocity 3 times its initial velocity. The initial velocity of the ball is, yes, how do you do this? So they are saying that there is a ball that is thrown from a height of 20 meters. And how is it thrown? It is projected at an angle 0 degrees. It is thrown horizontally. It hits the ground with a velocity 3 times its initial velocity. Find the initial velocity. How to do? Those who have solved, can you tell me? So there is a tower. What is the height of the tower given? 20 meter. Huh? It is projected with the speed u along the horizontal. So can you tell me what exactly is the physics involved behind this? It goes and hits the ground. Is it going to hit the ground vertically or horizontally? Is it going to hit the ground horizontally or vertically? Neither of the directions. It will have some random direction of velocity. What they are saying is this velocity is 3 times u. Right? So this can be resolved into two components. What are the two components? This is Vx and this is Vy. Now tell me guys how to solve. So what is the value of root of Vx square plus Vy square?
u.
That's right. 3. So our work is only to find what is the value of Vx and Vy. Find it out. So how to do? So Vx is equal to, since we don't have time, we have only displacement in our hand. What formula can we think of which gives a relation between velocity and displacement?
V square minus U square is equal to 2A.
Yeah, that's right. So use V square minus U square is equal to 2as along x direction. So what is the x direction's velocity? Vx square minus ux square is u square. Acceleration along x direction is 0. So Vx will be still equal to u only. Similarly, Vy square minus Uy square is equal to 2 into Ay into Sy. So what is the value of Vy? So Vy square, Uy is 0. 2 into acceleration due to gravity is minus 10. Displacement of the particle is minus 20. That will be how much? 400. Right. So Vx square plus Vy square is equal to 9u square accepted, which implies u square plus 400 is equal to 9u square. So 8u square is equal to 400. How much is 50? U square is equal to 50. What will be the value of u? 5 root 2. Is there an option like that?
Yes. It can be
5 root.
approximated to 7.
That's the answer. Aditya, I hope it is clear.
Yes, sir.
Any other doubt, guys?
Sir, will you give the answers for these worksheets like so we can check with it?
This question, I'll send solutions itself.
Okay.
But I wanted you all to submit the answers. I didn't receive many responses. I was waiting for it. I'll send you solutions if you all submit your answers.
Okay.
Okay, take every DPP like like a test and do it. Because then you can improve your speed also. So, yeah, I hope most of you have schooled now. We'll wind up this session. Okay. So next class we'll start vectors.